Shining Clough is one of the recommended scrambles in the Peak District. It's rated at grade 2 and located south of the Woodhead Reservoir in Longdendale. Best place to park is the small car park that lies at the south end of the dam between Woodhead and Torside reservoirs. There's parking here for around about 10 cars. If it's full here, then you can park at Torside Car Park, which is down the Transpennine Trail. It's going to add about 2 times 25 minutes to the walk out and back. When you get here to the car park, you don't head off down the Transpennine Trail, but instead go up this road here to the right. It's going to take around 40 minutes to walk into the beginning of the scramble in the clough. These quad bike tracks mark one possible approach route into the clough. They run up to an oak tree by a fence and then left along a fence line. However, it is quite a bit simpler, albeit a little bit longer, to follow this road as it winds upwards, and the clough itself is roughly where you can see those trees in the distance. Don't continue on the road past this point, but turn right up the hillside and through that gap. Ascending alongside the fence, you'll come to this vague fork. If you turn left, it goes back and down into Shining Clough, which begins with some small cascades in a pretty woodland setting, but then becomes overgrown. It is unfruitful scrambling territory, so instead of going left, here just carry on straight. At this gate, you can go left and then up through undergrowth into the clough, but there's still no scrambling and you have to make your way over a fence. So in preference, go through the gate and then slightly right through the bracken. There's another choice point here. You can yet again head left, going through a broken down fence and gate into the clough. If you enter the clough at that point, you'll mainly be hiking up beside the brook for 200 meters, bar couple of grade 0.5 cascades, couple of grade 1 12-foot slimy cascades. Probably not worth it. So my choice would be to keep going through and up the hillside, following a very faint set of quad bike tracks up to a rusty gate. Here is that rusty gate. There's no marked path from this point, but you are heading upwards around 200 meters, following this fence to a corner post. I can tell that some people have gone along right beside the tetanus ready rusty barbed wire, and others seem to have taken a track about 5 meters to the right through the birch trees and beyond. If you head through the trees, then this is what you'll find by way of a path. Turn left at this corner post and follow the birch trees down to the end of the fence at the edge of the clough. From the fence end, make your way down here and into the clough. For the first short while, just walk alongside the brook. Above that initial open section, it is fairly continuous grade 1 scrambling over boulders and cascades. The cascades are very mossy. They have inviting little rock shelves, but those are slippery, so you can rub them down in order to get a bit more grip. The lower part of Shining Clough is crumbly at the sides, and there are some indications of recent rockfall. Could be an argument for wearing a helmet, though if that landed on your head, no amount of protective gear is going to help you. Here's the first problem. Not very high, but very overhung, and the only possible route up there is poor on foot and hand holds, and any attempt is likely to end up pulling out large chunks of vegetation. So instead, going to work around over to the top. If you thought that was difficult, then get a load of this. This wall is Shining Clough's main obstacle. It is around 40 feet high, seriously overhung, greasy, and there is no grade 1 route, there is no grade 2 route. If you needed proof of that, there's an eye bolt fixed at the rock at the top for climbers. So instead you are going to have to find a way around, which is quite enough of an adventure in itself, given from where I'm standing here that there is no obvious workaround path. Here's a longer distance view of the bypass paths, though they're still not particularly easy to see, but most direct route would be to go here, up and over the top and then down, and the longer distance option would be to go through here, turn the corner, go all the way up and over and down. The lower route I pointed out goes along there, but instead I've chosen to take a slightly higher line coming up here and going over this boulder here and upwards. If you'd taken the lower path, then I think it turns upwards maybe round the corner there, or it looks like there's one possible path coming up here. For the path that I've followed coming up here, this looks like a turning point, and I'm going to head up somewhere between those two trees. The path is not easy to follow. It is on a very steep hillside, and the heather that covers the path would provide practically no grip at all if it was wet. So I would rate this in itself somewhere between a grade 1 and a grade 2, not in terms of technical difficulty, but in terms of challenge and risk, and I'm not particularly enjoying myself. The route I followed actually just went beneath the lower of those trees, and it now starts to go downwards back into the clough, heading roughly for that boulder there. Phew! Glad to be back on terra firma, because in places on the bypass, if you slipped or tripped, you are going to tumble a hell of a long way down. But ended up only about 20 feet above the top of the wall, with nice views across to Holm Moss and Hayden Brook, and what should be a reservoir, but isn't just at the moment because of lack of rain. This is where the scramble proper begins, with a set of grade 1 algae-ridden pitches. They are just walk-ups, but you can try going up the slabs, or you can try going up the sides if you want to make it more interesting rather than just going up the centre line. This is a grade 1.5 pitch, although there is a grade 2 option going up the crack you can't quite see there. The reason it's 1.5 is because all of the rock is greasy, and because you're going to get wet. You're going to get wet even though it has not rained very much recently. If it has rained recently, then Shining Clough is a whole different kettle of fish, though without the fish, because water is going to be pouring down onto you as you try to get up each one of the cascades. This is what scrambling is all about, working out a route for something that looks daunting. If you want to work it out for yourself, then fast forward this bit. Essentially, it is too overhung, so the route that I take is step, 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 and then in the cleft in between those two rocks and over. Alternative you might try is to somehow get up here and inch your feet along this shelf and then over. If that all looks too easy for you, then up here on the left are various towers and gullies between them that you could try. Alternatively, if all of that looks beyond you, then there is some kind of a bypass path that goes up here and over, though that in itself is moderately difficult. Up above you can see the step that's hidden in the cleft that you can use to get up. It's this pitch that earns Shining Clough its grade 2 rating, and that is in dry weather. More difficult, as I've said, when it's been wet. Next, there are 3 enjoyable grade 1 pitches, not walk-ups because of the boulders, so they will need route planning. Above those 3, it's just careful walk out over the greasy stones of the brook, save for one final note in the melody, which is another grade 1 pitch above a circular pool. Take it any way you want, easier or harder. The end point is this diagonal rock. The outpath east from here goes above Dowstone Rocks and then links up to a shooting track that runs down Stable Clough and past the Lodge Farm. It seems easier if longer, but I've not known anyone take that. Maybe because of access issues, maybe they got shot at in grouse season. So instead, the path typically followed is this one west that goes above Deer Knoll, takes around 45 minutes to get back to the car park. At first, the outpath kind of retraces your steps, except above the clough, and then at this corner turns west through 90 degrees across the top of the edge. Somewhere between Deer Knoll, which is round there, and Lawrence Edge, which is there, you'll need to find a way down. I'm at about halfway here, and this seems a best or least worst option because it's least steep, and you can also see what you're aiming for, which is the quarry track down there. There's no marked path, so just go cross country, aiming for your goal. This whole terrain underneath Deer Knoll and Lawrence Edge, particularly the lower sections, is pockmarked with many sinkholes hidden underneath the heather and the blueberry bushes that you can fall into up to your knee or even thigh. Walking poles help a bit, but they don't solve the problem completely, so watch out. This isn't actually the marked quarry track, which is some 200 meters to the east, but it must go somewhere, so I'm going to follow it. After taking a sharp right round a hill, that track I was on has now linked up with the one that's marked on the Ordnance Survey map, and this will go fairly directly back down to the car park. Final challenge, getting over this rather unfriendly gate. Shining Clough has got some satisfying grade 1 and 1.5 pitches, a single satisfying grade 2 pitch, and that grade 1.5 bypass route that is unenjoyable. I was here last week and at that time found the bypass route unnerving. Second time around it was tolerable. But there are 2 other problems for Shining Clough. First is that socking great overhung wall near the start that thumbs its nose at scramblers and says, "Nah, you can't climb me." And the other is, doesn't really have a good answer to the question, what have you got to offer that is better than Wildboar Clough, especially as it takes around twice as long to get to at least. So I'm going to rate it 7 out of 10, but I doubt I'll be back here very often unless Wildboar starts getting seriously crowded.